This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
So, John, I don't know why she did it. Can you explain to me why anybody would do this? We're talking about this nurse at the hospice center, where, some of the angels on earth, a lot of people would describe them, are hospice care workers because they're there at the end of a person's life. They're dealing with the family, and they come in every day with a smile and they serve these people. And it must be really hard for them because, every day you're going in to be with people that are about to die and the family. It's just constant grief and death. I don't know how they keep going.
End of life care. My grandma had hospice at the end of the life, and they are really they're the last people to take care of you, and their job is to make sure you're as comfortable as you can and to look out for your every convenience at the end of your life, every comfort.
Yeah. I've been through that several times with hospice workers, and they were just wonderful. But I think at some point, when you've done it long enough, that some people that aren't totally suited for it, they snap. And I think that's probably what happened to this lady. Wouldn't you agree?
You got a story about a snapped hospice worker here.
Well,
yes.
So this happened in Wisconsin. Apparently, it happened back in the winter. They've just gotten around to sentencing the hospice nurse. So this man was apparently in a snowmobile accident, John, and he was severely injured, and he laid out in the elements for a couple of days before they found him. But they did find him, and they brought him back, and his injuries were very severe, and they said, look, he's not going to make it. We're going to send him over to the hospice center. So they do. And apparently, I don't know if it was just one foot or both, but his foot had frostbite. And I guess because he was so severely injured, they decided, we're not going to amputate. There's no point in it. So he's getting treated at the hospice center by one of their cheerful employees, and this nurse decides she's going to amputate his foot. Now, I don't know what she used. The story doesn't say, but she cut this guy's foot off.
Does it matter what she used? Was it sterilized?
I don't know, but
That's what I want to know.
She cut the man's foot off. Not only that, but after she cut the foot off, listen to what she did. She propped it up in the front window at the hospice center with a note that said, "Kids, wear your insulated boots."
Now, what I want to know is the public service aspect of this story, that erased canceled out by the fact that she performed that amputation?
It's canceled out. I'm sorry.
Wow. Was the guy awake for it, I wonder?
Probably, she had him all hopped up on the Thorazine and the morphine.
That's the only thing I look
stuff.
forward to if I ever have to go to hospice. You're going to be taken care of really nicely toward the end of your life.
The drug. The last person I was with at I went to visit a hospital. They didn't last 36 hours. Mm-hmm. And they were getting, this person went in to the emergency room. They're having chest pain or something. And this person had already had heart surgery, knee replacement, all kind of stuff. But they said, you've got lung cancer. And they just immediately left the emergency room and went to hospice. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Normally you go home until you get really bad. They went right to hospice, and then they only made it like 36 hours in the hospice. And we went there, and they were doing the morphine, and they were rubbing on this gel that had opioids in it. And they'd rub it right on the neck, and suppose it gets absorbed, and weird.
Yeah, those hospice workers, you ever watch those videos on YouTube? They'll have hospice workers, and they say that oftentimes, more often than not, people say, I see angels, and they're reaching their hands up, and it's not just religious people, it's atheists, it's all kind of religions.
There's a woman on TikTok. I'm big on the talk. I'm very progressive.
You're very up on it.
And there's a hospice nurse who's a regular poster on there, and she does videos when she gets permission from the family of these people. And she said often, when they're within a day or so of dying, they'll start reaching up and say they see people
and hear music. They say they hear angels. What my grandma did when my grandma, she died of cancer. She was in hospice, and my mother was there with her, and said that grandma, when she died, she reached her hands up like this, and then the cats, they let the cats come, her cats, and the cats stood up on their back legs and watched and like looked in the ceiling.
So the cats could see hopefully the angels. She didn't get left behind.
I don't know. You remember in that movie Ghost?
I don't think you're reaching for demons.
I hope not. Maybe she was trying to hold the demon
off.
Right? That's maybe what it is.
I hope she was reaching for the angels.
God, now that I think about it, I don't know if Grandma made it to heaven. She could have been a crazy mean. She was always nice to me.
Who knows?
You always base it on how they treat you, but she could have been the world's worst person.
You just have to do your best and trust in him so you don't get left behind, John. That's what I say.
At least my grandma didn't get her. She died with both feet, so she can run away from
That's
Satan
good.
if she's down there.
That's good. Let me ask you a question, John. Have you ever owned a pair of Crocs?
Oh, yes. In fact, I had a pair I had for 12 years, and I left them outside for like 4 years under a pile of leaves.
Yeah, they're indestructible. You can leave them anywhere and come back later, and they're still there because nobody will steal them.
I washed them off, and I wore them for another 7 years after that. Yeah.
I got sucked into Crocs one time, and I was going on a fishing trip out in California, and I wanted, you're constantly, your feet are wet, and there's fish guts and bait on the deck and everything, and I said, those might be comfortable. I tried them on; they were cushy. I said, I'll try. It's the worst mistake ever. They were terrible. And
Why were they terrible? They're the most comfortable and supportive shoes.
I have to have socks.
I used to run in my Crocs. I loved my Crocs.
But
I got
anyway,
fake Crocs
I threw
now.
them away the minute I got home. But why? I don't understand this. I just got a picture. I'm going to post this picture here. Everybody can take a look at it. Somebody thought this was a great idea to make shoes that actually look like Crocs. They actually look like crocodiles. The mouth and everything on there. And, who would wear that?
People like that. They like to wear wacky stuff. People wear wacky socks. People wear wacky shoes.
Yeah, but who would wear? And that, it's like those shoes. I had a friend, may he rest in peace, my friend William Powell, the trainer. He was a bodybuilder and trainer. But when they first came out, I remember one time I went to the gym and he was wearing a pair of those shoes that had individual little things for your toes. They look like a foot.
I see people wear those every now and then.
And I said, William, what are you doing? And he said, oh, man, these are great.
They're great. They give you great balance.
I said, I can run in regular tennis shoes. I don't have to, if I want to see your feet, just show me your feet. But don't put an imitation of your feet over your feet.
People wear those at the gym, and they always say, oh, man, you'll love them. They're so great. And I'm like, no, shoes are better than walking around barefoot.
No, I'm not going to love them at all. Put me in a nice pair of New Balance or something like that if I'm going to get in a pair of shoes.
Actually wearing cheap knockoff Crocs that I got from Bezos now, and that's bad when you wear fake Crocs because you're on a budget.
Well, Amazon does that to everybody. They steal every idea, every great idea that starts selling on Amazon. They copy it and give it better marketing than they do, and they usually steal it. The perfect example, what's the shoe called? Airbirds or Bird Dogs?
Yeah.
There's a brand called Bird Dogs or Air Dogs, I forget, but they do shoes and shorts, and I've seen this guy interviewed, and he goes, basically, they just stole our products. They copied them. Yep. And gave them a little twist of a name, and they started marketing them, and our stuff, when you do a search, our stuff wouldn't come up. Theirs would.
Yeah, I've heard that from several, but it's like Amazon has businesses by the short hairs because what are you going to do? Not be on Amazon?
Right. Exactly right. I'll tell you what I've been doing, John. I have been selling stuff like crazy on the Facebook Marketplace. I'm a master of the Facebook Marketplace. I put stuff on there with a couple of pictures. I start getting messages, and I go, price is firm, Venmo only, leave it on the front porch, never even look at them. I get their money, they pick it up, and they're gone. You ever done that?
No, but what kind of stuff are you selling?
It's awesome. Just all kind of crap that's been here in the house that hasn't been used in forever. Like I had a pair of those workout ropes, you bolt to the floor and you do up and down. But they weren't mine. They were my son's. My son bought them. He never even opened them. They've been in my garage for like 5 years. I said,
yeah, he's been out of the house for like 10 years, hasn't he?
Yeah. And I still got his crap here. I said, either come and get them or they're gone. He goes, get rid of them. I put them on Facebook. I must have gotten 20 messages for those things. But all kind of stuff like that, turn them into cash. I had an old pressure washer I put on there. It's great.
I got rid of most of my stuff a few years ago when I downsized my house. I really don't have a whole lot to give away. I gave it all away, but I should have sold it.
Yeah, I mean, you can sell anything on there. I think you could put dirty socks on there and somebody would buy it.
Well, I know that a lot of guys would put a premium price on that.
Right.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Speaking of money, if you need some money, I got a great money scenario for you.
Am I going to get any money out of it?
Well, that's up to you. This is one I thought of last night. I know it's going to be on the podcast.
Okay,
All right.
let's hear it.
Here's the scenario. You get $100,000.
Right.
But in order for you to get this $100,000, you have to think of the person you hate most in life.
Right.
Somebody who's done you wrong. Somebody you hold a grudge against.
Right.
And you have to give this person
Right.
$50 million in order for you to get $100,000. Now, it can't be your daughter. I hate my daughter.
Wait a minute. Where am I going to get $50 million?
This is a scenario. There's a $50 million.
Well, it's a bad
prize.
scenario. I don't have $50 million to give to some. Why? If I had $50 million, why
You're
would I
reading too
give?
much into the
Why
scenario.
would I give somebody $100,000 if I hate them? When I have $50 million, I'd go ha 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 ha.
There's
I
a
got
$50 million. Listen, there's a $50 million prize out there. You get $100,000, but in order for you to get that, you have to. The person that you hate most in life gets $49,900,000, whatever.
Will I do that?
You got to think of the person who's done you the worst in your life and give them $50 million.
No, I don't think I would.
You would let your.
I believe I would. I'd rather hold my grudge. If it's only $100,000, now if I were going to get $1 million plus,
okay,
I might be okay with it.
Let's say you get
$100,000, I'd rather hold my grudge.
Let's say you get $1 million, but you got to give them $100 million.
Why is the amount changed? Why couldn't it be $49 million?
Well,
you just jumped from 50 to $100 million. Well, this is the dumbest scenario I've ever heard of.
No, this one makes you think. $1 million.
Fine, if I get $1 million and I just give it to them, fine.
They get $100 million. The person
you know what I'd do? I'd say,
most.
listen, I'm a bigger person than you are, even though you're an a-hole. I get $1 million. You're going to get all this. Thank you very much.
Would it drive you crazy?
Nah.
Come on.
I mean, just money handed to me, no.
But they're getting $100 million, and this is the person.
I would say this is the dumbest scenario you've ever heard. My friend John came up with it, but I'm going to give you $99 million.
You would do that. See, that would
To get $1 million, yeah.
But you wouldn't do it for $100,000.
Nah, I'd hold my grudge for $100,000. Sorry.
I wanted to see what your breaking point would be.
That's it, $1 million. That's my breaking point right there.
All right.
By the way, big news. Do you drink any soda?
All the time.
What kind do you drink? What do you drink?
I drink Aldi Red Bull brand.
Well, wait a minute. Is that a special Red Bull or is it
It's
a
like
copycat?
Aldi brand.
It's like an Amazon Red Bull.
Yeah, but it's good and it's cheap.
Okay. All right. I don't drink any energy drinks. I don't know, but occasionally the one thing, and I mean, I'm talking maybe twice a year, I will drink either a Diet Coke or a regular Coke. Coca-Cola is changing their recipe for the first time in decades. Have you heard about this?
No.
They're getting rid of, at the request of JFK Jr. and the president, they're getting rid of the high fructose corn syrup and going back to real cane sugar. Because I don't know if you've ever tasted the difference, but if you go to Mexico or one of the Caribbean islands and you drink a Coke, it is so much better than the Coke here that has high fructose corn syrup.
When I lived in South Alabama a few years ago, I lived right down the street from a Mexican grocery, and they had all
Mexican
the sodas
Coca-Cola?
and Mexican Pepsi too.
Yeah, it gives you diabetes twice as fast and high blood pressure. It's awesome.
But it tastes so good.
But you taste so good dying. When the hospice lady's cutting off your foot, you'll be so happy chugging that real sugar Coca-Cola down.
That's right. And you can use part of that $1 million prize for your health.
Yeah. You won't even have to have frostbite. It'll be the diabetes that makes you get your foot cut off. So
That'll do, yeah.
they'll put it in the window and they'll go, Coke, the real thing.
So now we're grateful that they're putting sugar back in soda. This is a weird thing.
Well, it's healthier than that high fructose corn syrup, I think, don't you?
Well, that's been put in everything these days.
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup is like plastic. It's everywhere. So it'll be
It's amazing how easy it was to solve a lot of these issues. Like they almost instantly got every food company to agree to get rid of these artificial dyes that we know are poison. That red dye number 3, they're all switching to organic dyes. They just, like that. Okay, we'll do it.
And we've known for years because of the internet, we see that Fruit Loops in England, they're
Right.
more pale. They don't have all the colors. We've known this.
Right.
And they finally got it done this year.
It's like I saw this the other day. Now, again, I'm big on the TikTok, as you know. I'm hip.
I do know
And there's a woman on TikTok who's one of these health gurus. She says that in the U.S., McDonald's French fries have 11 ingredients. And in Europe, they have 4. Like in the U.S., they use more chemicals and stuff to prepare them and parboil them and freeze them.
Polysorbate 80.
They have all these chemicals in them, and then, of course, the oil's different, so they fry them. There's chemicals in the oils that we use here, as opposed to using beef tallow, which they used to do. And then they put salt on them. But 11 ingredients versus 4.
Now, you've seen the videos about how a McDonald's fries and hamburgers can sit there for 6 years and not even grow mold.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, it's crazy.
ants won't go anywhere near it. And
Absolutely crazy. So I saw a story today. If you're on social media at all, you see these people all the time where they're always crazy, loony, left-wing liberals 90% of the time. They go, I just can't stand this country anymore. He's ruined it. I just can't live here anymore. I've got my passport, and I'm going to move to Russia. So I'm just got to get away from Trump and get out of here. Well, this black lady does just that. She decides she can't deal with the racism and everything going on in America, and so she packs up and moves to Russia. And in fact, the Russians, the media there found out about it, and they go, this is great PR for against USA.
an American defector.
We get this woman to tell us how bad it is and how much she loves Russia. So she moves there, and she gets one of those communist apartments in one of those giant concrete featureless towers. Mm-hmm. And she soon discovers all her neighbors are gigantic racists.
Like most people in Russia are. They don't like blacks over there. They like them less there than they do in America.
They hate anybody that's not Russian.
Yeah.
They don't even like other Russians that are those minority groups.
Right.
Over there. But they hate black people, and she got her ass beat. There's a picture of her. She's got black eyes. Anyway.
Didn't she already, though?
She's coming home. Oh. Huh?
Didn't she already have black eyes?
No, I mean, she got punched, and her eyes were, I guess, blue eyes. She's bruised eyes.
She got purple eyes.
Anyway, she's coming back to America because
she got pulverized.
She figured out Russia's even more racist than America.
I would never want to go to another country. These people just pack up and leave. I'd be scared. I don't know how the world works over in Tunisia.
Exactly.
I'll stay right here in America.
Yeah, stay here. Listen, all these people that hate America, that whine and complain, pick another country.
Right.
That you think is better and go there and then get back with me in a year or two.
I'd like to go to Dubai if I had the money. I'd like to go live in Colombia.
The only way to go to Dubai is if you're filthy rich.
Right. I'd like to go to Colombia because I like Colombian women, but I don't want to get shot by,
Colombia is
MS-13.
I know people from Colombia. My kids grew up with some children whose mother was Colombian.
Was she hot?
And yes, very pretty lady. And they go there all the time, but they're upper class Colombian. Her brothers and sisters are like dentists and stuff like that, so they live in a safe area. But it's not. A lot of Colombia, Cartagena, is not very safe.
They're like the
Cartagena.
white people of Colombia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. First, they're the 1%ers of Colombia. Exactly.
1% pesos.
So artificial intelligence, John, as you know, is taking over everything, supposedly.
Right.
We have tremendous demands for our power grid because of artificial intelligence.
Is it because those computers, why do they must use a lot of electricity?
They use a tremendous amount of compute power. So you have to have now what they're doing is they take thousands of computers and network them all together to create the artificial intelligence. Now, NVIDIA is creating these like supercomputers, so they don't have to have as many, but they use tremendous amounts of electricity. Like I saw Eric Schmidt of Google. He says that the data centers that they're designing now that they want to build for AI use about 10 gigawatts of power. I don't know if this is per day, per week, but he said the average nuclear power plant creates 3 gigawatts, to give you some idea of the scale.
And these electrical grids were built back in the 40s and 50s.
Our electrical grids are terrible. They're ancient. And on top of that, we've been while China's opening a new coal-fired plant every day, we've been shutting ours down, and we haven't been creating any new nuclear power. Now, the future, I know a couple of nuclear engineers, don't ask me how, but the future, they say, are mini reactors. These are about the size of a shipping container, and they put one in your neighborhood, and it'll run a whole area of your town. And they're self-contained. They last for decades. They're not dangerous. They say that's the future of nuclear energy. Well, in other words, it's all contained inside there. You can't.
Boy, that's some scary stuff. You know what's fascinating about nuclear energy, and I watch a lot of videos on this, is what do they do with the hazardous waste, the water? Right now they have it set up where they put it inside of mountains, you know.
Well, they bury that, yeah, but that's changing the way they do it. Number one, they don't have as much waste because they're doing it differently, and the water itself is rarely exposed to the nuclear reaction.
Well, when they have to cool those nuclear rods down, those become toxic. Now, let me finish. Yeah. So they have all of these tons and tons of barrels of hazardous waste that they stick in mountains or whatever, these facilities. What happens if in 1,000 years man is out there and they're digging and around and they see a sign? Of course, it says hazardous waste, don't enter, but that's from English, which is a long-lost language at that point. These guys are going to dig into these mountains and release all of this radiation into the air. It could be 10,000 years.
You just can't stop coming up with these crazy scenarios. And then underneath that, there's a sign that says, if you go in, you get $1 million.
I'm just saying, they don't know what to do with all this nuclear waste.
Yeah, and I don't know what the half-life on that stuff is, but I think it's more than 1,000 years. So,
I mean, who knows?
I won't be around. You won't be around. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
It's like these garbage dumps.
Right, it sucks to be future people.
Like, who knows what's buried in most of those, what the long-term effects of that is. Who knows? Anyway, I brought up the AI because I thought this was pretty funny. Now, your brother, he's a religious man. What denomination is he? Do you know?
Church of God, Church of Christ.
Oh, perfect.
One of those.
Church of God.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Church of God, the Pentecostal, they do a lot of tongue talking. Is he a tongue talker? Yeah, he's a tongue talker. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Over the years, I've watched a lot of those people. There'll be there's some of the famous TV preachers of that Church of God, Pentecostal holiness, and they'll be preaching and and Jesus, bang bala humbala baba bala shay. They'll start doing that, and they say they're talking in tongues, and you think like, if you're saying something that nobody can understand, what's the point of it? You think, well, guess what they're doing now?
They're using AI to decipher.
There's a lady who said she's using Chat GPT to decipher her tongue talking, and it indeed is the spirit talking to her. Is what she says.
Isn't that like when you can? When those pet psychiatrists can read your dog's mind and they tell you what the dog's thinking. I love that.
Exactly. Hum babala babala shay.
And it's always good news. The dog says the dog loves you very much.
Right.
Stuff
he'll
you
be
want to
sad
hear.
when he dies. He'll miss you so much when he's gone.
It's never like, this dog really thinks you have bad breath and wishes you would quit giving him kissy kissies.
Hey, by the way, are you going to go see Superman?
I was going to talk to you about that last week. I'm done with Superman. I tried it over the years. I tried Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
I tried Smallville. I liked it at Christopher Reeve, the second one.
Yeah,
and
we've talked about that before. I had to do an apology a few days ago here on the podcast. I was wrong about Superman. I said Superman went woke, and Superman didn't go woke. It was the director who went woke. And I've actually heard mixed reviews on Superman the movie, but I saw the preview, and I really liked the preview because of the dog.
It's a hit movie for sure.
Oh, yeah, it blasted off the first weekend. It hasn't done well internationally, but it's done great here. The director went to China and made some inappropriate comments as well, and it didn't do well.
Budget was $225. So far, it's made $250, so it's not even broken even yet. So you may be right.
Say that again?
Well, it made
the budget was $225,
and it's made $250.
So it's made $25 million.
No, and here's how that works. You have to at least basically double your budget in order to make some money because there's production costs. Also, you have to, like the movie company has to share 50% royalties with the movie theater.
I see what you're saying.
So
but
in order for it to make a profit, it's going to have to do another $250, and then they start making money.
I saw the preview. I love the little dog in the Superman movie. It's got a. Have you seen the preview?
No.
I
haven't seen the dog.
After the podcast, Google Superman official preview, and it's got his dog. He whistles, and the dog comes and saves him. It's great. And it's not like you would think it would be like a Belgian Malinois or a German Shepherd or Doberman. Right. No, it looks like a little pound dog, a little pound puppy, a white pound puppy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I think I'm going to see it. People, when we start talking about movies, I always remember hearing about this movie, Citizen Kane, Orson Welles movie, right? Mm-hmm. And people would say, it's the greatest movie ever made. It's a cinematic masterpiece.
Right.
And I remember the first time I saw it, I thought, what the hell is going on? In this movie. It's black and white.
Boring.
I just didn't get it. And I've watched it a couple of other times, and now I sort of get it, but listen to this. So there are some sleds, like snow sleds in this movie, and one of the Rosebud sled. Rosebud is a character, sort of. It's a sled. Somebody just paid $14.75 million for the sled they used in this movie.
I heard that. Love the movie props.
It's the second most expensive piece of movie memorabilia ever sold.
Boy, people would do anything. Like people buy the Star Wars models.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But how about this? Joe Dante's the guy that owned it. It was given to him in 1984. Given to him.
Wow. Who gave it to him?
Am I
being a girl? Am I asking too many questions?
No, they were clearing out the Paramount lot, and they knew he was a fan of vintage films, and so they gave it to him. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
$14.75 million. That's crazy.
That's probably more than the movie made initially when it came out.
Yeah, I'm sure. It came out when, in the 30s or 40s? I can't remember. Country legend Reba McEntire's kind of on my last nerve a little bit today. I love Reba, don't you?
I love Reba. Sure.
Always liked Reba. Great singer. Great American, pretty good actress. No, I wouldn't say great. Pretty good actress, but...
She's a good actress.
Yeah, I said pretty good actress. Not great, though. Come on.
She's a great actress.
She's corn pawing.
That's what we like about her. She's like a modern-day mini Pearl.
Reba is out there trying to save PBS. She says it's near and dear to her heart. Now, you probably have heard this, but they're under threat of losing about $1 billion in federal funding.
Right.
And she said, I've been a part of the PBS family since the 80s on Austin City Limits, South Pacific at Carnegie's Hall, and now PBS needs our help, America.
Yep.
Don't let them take away the money. And I think the problem is Reba's never watched PBS or listened to PBS's NPR radio branch. Because I like some things they show on PBS. I like Rick Steves' Europe, but even he gets a little political at times. I like some of the cooking shows that they have and stuff. What I can't stand is the minute they go to news or interviews, it's just all anti-Republican, anti-Trump, anti-conservative over and over and over again.
That's why they lost their funding.
And the other thing is, I think they focus too much on foreign countries and not enough on what's going on here. It's always, today on Fresh Air, we'll talk with the Belgian monk who lives in the Alps and rings his bell every day at 4 o'clock.
So in your radio career, did you ever go when they had the Begathon for the local PBS
Never.
affiliate? Go
Not
on TV
one
and
single
say,
time I refused to do it.
When I was in Knoxville, they asked if anybody wanted to come down. They were going to have the Begathon, and so I remember being on TV just because I wanted to be on TV and get my radio show out there. I was like, and you get the handy guide, and of course we have great shows like Nova and Reading Rainbow and the McNeil-Lehrer News Report.
You get 80 CDs with all our old shows on
That's
it.
right.
That's the other thing I hate about it. It's like tuning into one of those Jimmy Swaggart or Kenneth Copeland shows. They're always begging you to send in money.
Without you, we won't be here.
Our goal this hour is $3,000. And they say, of course, we do all this commercial-free. Brought to you by a grant from Pfizer.
Brought to you by the Chubb Foundation.
Yes, it's all. Don't tell me it's commercial-free. You're constantly mentioning all your foundation. And if it's so great, why do you have to beg for money all the time?
I only remember watching PBS on a regular basis a couple of times in my life. When I was a kid, Ben Affleck was in a TV show called The Voyage of the Mimi. It was about a shipwreck. And then there was a show called Powerhouse.
I've heard that one.
There's a show called Powerhouse where these kids who were like teen, mystery teen detectives, and then Reading Rainbow. And I watched that when I was an adult.
Well, PBS is not immune to the effect of the internet like anybody else. It's like my daughter and my little grandson. What is her name? There's a woman who has a YouTube channel for kids that is so big, John, it's outrageous. She does little videos for babies. And she has millions of subscribers and viewers, and that used to be what PBS did. But
except it was for the old people that put them to sleep.
They forgot how to do Mr. Rogers. They forgot how to do cool stuff like that. They got so political they can't do it. I heard who's that old crusty guy on the afternoons on PBS on NPR? You know who I'm talking about? He's like the news anchor in the afternoon. He had Greg Gutfeld from Fox on there one day. He's a comedian. And the other thing about them, they have no sense of humor. The only thing they think's funny is if they're making fun of Republicans or conservatives. Then they'll laugh. But they had Greg Gutfeld on there, and they're doing the interview, and so the guy is going to hit him with a zinger, right? He goes, well, while you're here, let's look at some of your comedy that you routinely do and see how it might affect the feelings of other Americans. And it's Greg Gutfeld doing a joke about how bad Asian drivers are. And he goes, what do you think of that, Greg? And he goes, what do you mean, what do I think of that? He goes, don't you think that's offensive? And he goes, not at all. You ever met an Asian that could drive a car very well? It was so, and the guy was just stunned. He was like, gosh, I thought I had him. But
that's a gotcha in PBS world.
He slipped out of my grasp with his Asian joke. I don't know how he did it.
Do you really think that was funny? That's getting dressed down on PBS. Are you sure you thought that was appropriate?
Right. It's crazy. But anyway, Reba's out there trying to save PBS. And I think if Reba listened to NPR and some of the news programs, she wouldn't be so excited about it.
Well, she has a long-standing relationship with them. She's, I'm sure, been on some concerts, like a Reba concert or Austin City Limits or that kind of thing.
What's the one? I enjoy watching it sometimes, although they get some real weirdos on there. The one where they have the tiny concerts in the office. Have you seen these?
It's been so long, but I remember as a kid they would run concerts from time to time.
Well, this is a relatively new feature, I mean, within the last few years. But it's like an office at NPR or PBS, one or the other. And they'll have little mini concerts. Like they'll have John Mellencamp and a guitar player, and they'll do a little, I forgot the name of it, but it's pretty cool.
And that's stuff you can see on the YouTube anytime you want. You don't need PBS for that.
Exactly.
And we don't need to be funding John Mellencamp concerts.
We don't need to be sending $1 billion. I mean, the actual commercial radio industry is kaput. It's done.
There's somebody who could use $1 billion.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for being part of the Jack Murphy podcast today.
You're welcome.
If you haven't, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And by the way, we got some great stuff over on our other YouTube channel, History City. Oh, I didn't tell you this. So a lot of people have been messaging me because I've mentioned History City, and they go, hey, is this your channel? I go, no, it's not. And they say, I can't find History City. And I go, well, it's right. I'm subscribed. It's right here. Turns out we own a copyright on that name, by the way. We paid money, several $100s, $800 to get a copyright on the name History City. There are like 5 other people that have copied it, and so we sent them cease and desist letters this week. They're going to have to change the names of their channels because when you search it, ours is the oldest one on YouTube, and it's not even coming up when you search for it.
And they're probably all AI channels.
I don't know. But anyway, check out History City. Our JFK special is coming real soon. There's a trailer at History City now you can check out, but our docuseries on the assassination of JFK is going to be, I think, next week. It's going to be
Have you ever
posted.
stood on the X down there at Dealey Plaza? I know you lived in Dallas for a while.
When I lived there, I didn't stand on the X, but I drove through there and looked at it. There was a lot of traffic that day, and
yeah, I stood on the X a few years ago.
Did you?
Got video of it. Yeah.
Did you do this when you?
I looked at it, and it was just very, surreal, standing in a place where you had seen from that angle, straight across the street. And I thought, could he have made the shot? I did the same thing everybody
else
else
did.
did.
How about the grassy knoll? Did you look over there? What's your opinion?
Somebody could have been up there, but obviously there was more than one person. I was just.
So you believe there was a second shooter?
Sure. It was Sunday morning, and they already had a line of people out there. And, of course, there's locals selling pamphlets and, this kind of stuff and junk. And it was 7 in the morning on a Sunday, and so I couldn't stand there for a whole long time. So
another conspiracy that you're involved in, you believe there was a second shooter. You don't believe a plane hit the Pentagon.
That's no way. How come the planes that hit the World Trade Center left wing marks, but the one that went into the Pentagon was just a hole? How come didn't have wing marks on that one, too?
Well, there's a lot of technical stuff I could go into, but we don't have time because this is the end of the podcast.
Whammy.
Anyway, like it and subscribe to Jack Murphy Podcast. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.